something that's so unpredicted and so shocking that it blows the framework that you're using. What would you say? The phenomenologists called that loss of world. The framework, the thing that you encounter is so unexpected that its appearance blows the structure of being apart. And that happens, for example, when people are betrayed by someone that they love, or maybe they're very seriously hurt, or they develop a very serious illness, or a dream that they've been pursuing for a long period of time is rendered impossible by some failure, or some unexpected natural occurrence. Before you're betrayed, you're in one place, and after you're betrayed, you're in another place. Before you're betrayed, your world is all structured, and you know where you are and what you're doing and who you're with and what everything is. The second after you're betrayed, none of that's true. And so, the second after you're betrayed, nothing is structured. It's like everything reverts to a chaotic place. And so, in some sense, the only time that you encounter a pure view of what the world itself is made out of, what the ground of being is when you encounter an error that's so overwhelming that your current framework of meaning is no longer applicable. And what's underneath it, that's the ground of reality. And the ground of reality is what you explore to put yourself back together and to put the world back together. So you're betrayed and you fall into a depression and you're anxious, but though the chaos that you fall into is depressing and anxiety provoking, so it generates a lot of negative emotion, but sort of lurking behind that are the sort of dim remnants of hope. Well, revelatory, sometimes people make new discoveries that blow their previous frames of reference, and it's like awe-inspiring and overwhelming to them in a positive way. Sometimes you can come across something new that helps you reconfigure the way that you're living almost instantly in a more comprehensive and fuller way. But more common is the traumatic response, which is when the presuppositions of your world are shifted dramatically and you fall into the surrounding chaos. Then it's so hard on you that, you know, it actually does you psychophysiological damage. Okay, now, if someone goes after you at the good person level of analysis and they just demolish you, hacking away at the idea that you have any moral worth whatsoever, then that's going to knock you into pieces at a very complex and high level of abstraction, so that can undermine your entire worldview. If the person instead helps you retool the little behaviors and the little microstructures that make you up, and if you're willing to participate in that, and if you're open to corrective feedback from the world, then you can continually adjust yourself at a small level, and then that makes the things in the hierarchy a little higher, a little healthier, and then that makes the aggregation of those things a little higher in the hierarchy a little healthier and a little more complete. Then you can do this bit by bit retooling without ever having to suffer the demolition of huge chunks of your personality. So let's go back to the relationship where there's a betrayal. When you encounter something that's unexpected, especially if it's small enough to handle, you need to extract the information from it, rebuild the world, and rebuild yourself. And then maybe if you continue doing that, every time you get evidence of an anomaly or an error, or every time the world manifests some meaning to you, then you won't have to fall apart, because the structure that constitutes you is going to remain viable and healthy from the bottom up. And if you don't do that, then those errors are going to accumulate, and when they finally do manifest themselves as unavoidable, there's no ignoring that, then the whole thing comes crashing down. All the other things become questionable.